All right, let's get to this. California Governor Gavin Newsome is doing some damage control, appearing on multiple media outlets to shift blame on this historic disaster.
We had my team start talking to local leaders, saying what's going on. Our state,
and you weren't getting straight answers from
I was getting
leaders.
different answers. And so for me, that's not a story. When you start getting different answers, then I'm not getting the actual story.
So not only is he blaming local officials, but he's also targeting the president-elect, Newsome claiming that he's afraid that Donald Trump will withhold aid to California.
Are you worried that he might actually do that?
Well, I mean, he's done it, but that's his style. And you know, we take it seriously to the extent that in the past, it's taken a little bit more time. I've been pretty expressive about that in the context of someone threatening our first responders in terms of supporting the immediacy of their needs.
And the far-left media is helping him spread this narrative, but watch how local officials are fighting back.
How troubled are you that there's a lack of communication between the city of Los Angeles and the incoming Trump administration?
There isn't a lack of communication between the city of Los Angeles and the incoming Trump administration. I have spoken with representatives of the incoming administration.
What, if any, concern is there about animosity from the incoming Trump administration toward California and its efforts to fight this fire? And that's Mayor Bass, that's directly to you.
Actually, I'm not worried about that.
Is it not disturbing that nearly a week after what could ultimately be the worst disaster in the state's history, that no one in leadership at the county, local, and seemingly the governor's level has had a conversation with the incoming president?
Well, given the fact that the administration is being put together, I don't necessarily agree with you on that.
Okay, so there's a lot of different layers here. But Guy, you have looked into some of the things that Newsome has specifically said.
Yeah.
We'll get to the Trump stuff in a minute. And when you fact check it, he's talking out of both sides of his mouth, and it doesn't add up.
Yeah, shocking, right? So this man is clearly prioritizing political PR over seemingly anything else, running off to some of these, left-wing podcasts and everything, putting out fact checks himself. So Fox News, our organization, tweeted yesterday that Newsome had cut the fire budget by about $100 million just months before these fires happened. Newsome, the governor, retweeted that, called it a ridiculous lie, and said he was going to serve these folks the facts. Well, let me just quote to you from Newsweek. The 2024-2025 California state budget, which Governor Gavin Newsome signed into law in June 2024, slashed funding for wildfire and forest resilience by $101 million as part of a series of cutbacks, according to his own administration. So I would love it if this man prioritized competence and actually had the foresight to put in place good policies that may have mitigated these issues. But now that this nightmare has been playing out and he and other officials in the state of California are getting flack from various critics, he's out there pushing back, calling the critics liars when in fact the critics, at least in this case that I just brought you, are using specific, correct facts. It just seems like a waste of his time.
And then you've got the Trump layer, Jason. Already, rather than focusing on what they need to do, they're trying to attack him. It's amazing. And then you've got some people saying, no, we're talking to him. Others are saying, no, we're not. We don't know what to say to the American people who want answers and the residents of the state.
You see the left-wing media in play, specifically going after and making allegations that none of the leaders there at the table are saying are actually happening. You can't possibly blame Donald Trump. He's the one that foreshadowed that if you don't make changes to the flow of water, if you don't mitigate the underbrush, the fuel that pushes these fires forward, then you're going to have problems. And guess what they did? And you know what? President Trump is going to do the right thing. He's going to help all Americans. But you're not just going to get a blank check, Gavin Newsom.
Right.
You didn't deal with your money that you had before. You're going to have do some things to actually solve the problem. That's what Donald Trump's all about. Some accountability, but actually solving the problem.